Stop. Hammer time. All right, my friends, welcome to the Monday video here on CoolStuffInc.com. Today we're playing the best deck in Modern. That's right. Nothing cute, nothing fancy today, even though we do have Colossus Hammer. Like, it's not a meme, I swear to you. This is the actual best deck in Modern. Is it unbeatable? No. I mean, obviously, if the metagame shifts, it can be, you can beat this deck if you want to, but this deck is actually just unbelievable. I picked it up 2 weeks ago, preparing for SCGCon. I played it at SCGCon, went 6-1-1, was top deck away from 7-1. Deck is just phenomenal. When I first saw the deck, I just assumed it was like a meme, all-in kind of infect, got you on turn 2 with Colossus Hammer kind of deck. It's not. This deck grinds unbelievably. It almost feels like you're just playing Jund, or like some sort of like Esper Stoneblade deck. And then you also occasionally kill your opponent on turn 2. And kind of like the infect decks used to, you put the fear of God into your opponent from turn 2 on, where they're always just scared of dying out of nowhere, which forces them to kind of like slow down a little bit and gives you a lot more time to get cards like Dark Confidant going, like Esper Sentinel, like Puresteel Paladin, And again, we really, these early versions of this deck were very, very kind of all in. And as the more time has gone on, the deck's gotten more grindy. Dark Confidant, of course, more of like a grindy Jund card. Thoughtseize is a phenomenal card in the deck to plow the road for your threats or to stop their threat if they're a broken deck. Realistically, though, this is an Urza Saga deck through and through. This is the card that really took this deck from being kind of an all-in meme to a unbelievable deck on all facets of the game. So, if I'm familiar with the deck, real fast, what's happening here? Colossus Hammer is 1-mana artifact. Gives a creature +10/+10, which is a lot, but it costs 8 to equip. Well, we're going to skip that part. We have Sigarda's Aid, which allows you to flash an equipment and equip for free. And then we have Puresteel Paladin, which allows you to equip for free if you have Metalcraft. So 8 ways to put Hammer onto a creature. And then, of course, we are playing a few other equipments for Puresteel Paladin. You can draw cards, etc., etc. Just being an artifact relevant for our other artifact things going on. And that's kind of the gist. But again, a lot going on here. Stoneforge card advantage. Esper Sentinel card advantage. Puresteel Paladin card advantage. A lot of mana acceleration here at Springleaf Drum. A lot of great lands, Inkmoth Nexus, Urza Saga, Canopy lands, which is a really, really powerful deck. You'll see it in the game. It's unbelievable. Also a Lurrus deck. Of course, Lurrus, insane grindy element, and just another grindy element to this deck that can go forever. Sideboard is Prismatic Ending, Void Mirror, some Sanctifier, en-Vec, Pro Black and Red being very good. Also has Knight of Malice, really cool sideboard card against the white decks, playing Solitude, and just trying to find a thing you can put into play that's hard to kill, so you can put a hammer on it. A couple Hushbringers that comes into play decks, last Thoughtseize. And we got Soul Guy Lantern here too. Could be now Spellbomb, honestly. It's pretty close either or which one you want to play. But that's the deck. I'm pumped to play it. I'm playing this deck a lot, and I've been winning a lot with it. Deck's super awesome. Let's play some games. But first, quick word from our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com.
Cool Stuff Inc. is proud to sponsor Jim Davis. We offer great deals on card games, tabletop RPGs, board games, and more. Get a free token featuring Jim Davis and take 5% off your next order if you use the code JIM5 at checkout. CoolStuffInc.com. Cool stuff in stock.
All right, so round 1. Winning die rolls, always a good thing to do with this deck. I guess with any deck, honestly. And we have an opener that's really, really close. Springleaf Drum plus a 0-mana creature is the best opening for the deck by far. We have a Thoughtseize, we have a Hammer, we have a Bauble. No lands, though. Give me a basic plains for this Ornithopter. His hand is almost perfect, but as is, we got a mulligan, unfortunately. So, hit the old mulligan button. And mulligan into pretty good hand, honestly. Yeah. Thoughtseize, Stoneforge, Sigarda's Aid, Sentinel, Memnite. I'm going to keep this. And we're going to ship the Memnite down. Least impactful card. And we're going to lead on Esper Sentinel over Thoughtseizes. We are on the play. So not super scared about, some crazy thing happening to us. We have Stoneforge for card advantage, and we have Sigarda's Aid for the combo as well. And honestly, it's turn 1 Sentinel, just will draw a card a lot of the time and get our mulligan back, and just a good way to start. It's almost like a weird cantrip in this deck. Spikefield Cave, so possibly a Belcher deck. And there's a Colossus Hammer, so Now we're just going to kill them on turn 3. So that works also. We don't need to cast Thoughtseize yet. They could, in theory, have some sort of like insane Belcher hand where they have like ritual. They have like ritual into Ironcrag Feet into Belcher. That would require them to turn to us, which is very difficult. They also have to have an untapped land too. Maybe just safer to cast Thoughtseize here. Play Sigarda's Aid, play Thoughtseize, and then we're just killing over 2 turns. We're killing on turn 4. Just comes down to how much of a coward are you, basically. And I think I'm just going to cast Thoughtseize. I'm just not going to let him get us. So play Thoughtseize. Their hand is Recovery, Blood Moon, Ironcrag Feet, Ritual, Strike it Rich, or Cross the Path. So pretty close to actually having it. They can turn 2 Blood Moon us. Once you have Sigarda's Aid, but that's totally fine. So we're going to take Across the Paths. So if you're familiar with this Belcher deck, they play Across the Paths. They play no actual lands in their deck. So when they cast this card, they get to stack their entire deck. That's how a Clash works. And then you just draw a card that draws 7 cards, you Miracle, yada, yada, yada. And the goal is just to get a bunch of mana in play and play a Belcher, which deals damage for the number of lands you have in your deck, which is none. So Across the Path is their setup card, which allows them to just stack their entire deck. Again, Blood Moon is certainly good here, but not really the end of the world. They have no idea to deal with our Sentinel anyway. We're casting Sigarda's Aid. Take them Across the Paths. Yeah, I don't think they were in any real danger here, honestly. So now we're going to play Sigarda's Aid and attack for 1. And they're on a 2-turn clock, and we draw cards and they cast spells. So sounds pretty good to me. Not really a Lurrus game. Not really a Lurrus game. They're going to play Turn Timber, untapped, take 3. Cast a Ritual. You're going to draw a card, of course. I imagine they're going to fire up the Blood Moon here. Sure. Good news for us. Honestly, drawing Shadowspear is pretty good. It's now we gain life 10 at a time. And I don't think it's enough to actually survive. Or we'll just kill them. That works too. Hammer time. Stop. Hammer time. And yeah. So that's kind of the allure of this deck, is that sometimes you just kill them. And this is a really wonderful thing for your modern deck to have. The ability to just kind of like, oh, I guess you're dead, and then also be able to play a longer game too. Our opponent was also playing sort of like a oops, you're dead deck. They're playing Belcher. But there's no real plan B with Belcher. You're just playing all these weird lands, all your cards are rituals, and they play a Thalia or something like that. I hope you have the one answer to it. Whereas our deck has many, many avenues to victory. So we are going to bring in Thoughtseize for sure. Void Mirror. I guess spell. No colored mana. It's not going to do anything. Sanctifier. Seal Cleansing is fine. They could have Fury in their deck. We can't really do anything about that, honestly. Prismatic Ending can hit treasures or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. We got the plating. And definitely a chance to get Force of Vigored or Furied. The 2 pitch spells. All the pitch spells, honestly, are what all the pitch spells are what's keeping this deck in check. Solitude, Fury, Force of Vigor. Without those cards in the format, this deck would be the best deck. It wouldn't even be close. But we have Thoughtseizes, we have Dark Confidants, things like that to push through it, obviously. So I got the Bauble here. I'm not sure what to cut. Just cut Bauble. It's pretty easy. Just the one-up Bauble for either finding off Urza Saga or using with your Lurrus. Pretty happy here. Realistically, we're a deck that can kill on turn 2 and also have 4 Thoughtseize. So it should be a pretty good matchup for us, despite them having good sideboard cards for us. Choose Lurrus. And another hand that'd be awesome if we had a single land, but not this time. Opponent keeps 7. We're going to mulligan. Mulligan to Saga, Drum, Fetch, Sentinel, Thoughtseize, Memnite. We're going to keep this one. Ship one of these Sentinels. And so we can go turn 1, Saga, Drum, Memnite, probably Sentinel. Could play Flooded Strand. We're scared of Blood Moon because Blood Moon would kill the Saga. Don't think we need 2 Sentinels. That's fine. I can even see chopping a land off here, honestly, but Shatter Skull, untapped. Gonna strike a rich, make a treasure, sure. There is some warrant to playing a Thoughtseizes here. So they have a cross the path, so we can definitely get hit pretty hard by it. I'm gonna fetch. I'm not gonna play Saga yet, in case they have Blood Moon. I'm gonna get Godless Shrine. We don't need the mana for it yet, but we might. So let's play that. Play the drum, and we're gonna cast Thoughtseize here. We're gonna play around them having the ability to recross the paths on turn 2. Yep, there it is. So they also have Force of Vigor and Fury. So they had the turn 2. Actually, didn't have turn 2, so no one untaps land, but still, Recross is by far the best card here. We can play through Force of Vigor, we can play through Fury, but Recross is definitely the best card here. So take that. And they have 4 cards left. Not going to play Ornithopter into Fury. We'll just say go here. Force of Vigor is pretty good too, but realistically, like, they have very low on resources. Like, these pitch spells for them, they don't really draw cards. They kind of need all their cards because they're all rituals. So really, they just like, they can pitch and the cards function, but they're not as good as they would be in a different deck. All right, there's your Bauble Get Recovery. In theory, they have no card to pitch to Force of Vigor. We're probably going to test that theory, honestly. We draw a Plains. We play Saga here. They get to cast the Force of Vigor, kill Saga and something else. It's kind of bad, honestly. I don't really want to play into Fury either. It might be Saga, just put Lurrus in hand. Maybe just play Thopter also. Thopter dies, whatever, you know. I'm gonna hold the Sentinel for the moment. They want to force your response to a trigger because they don't actually have it for the mana yet, but they can't do that. They might not have a green card anyway, so let's put Lurrus in hand. Again, once your opponent brings in a bunch of, like, you know, weird sideboard cards against you, you start to have to, like, play a more grindy game, but they do also, so they're like a slower. So they don't currently have a lot of mana. Nor do they have a payoff yet, so have a lot to put together. They're going to shock in Shatterskull, which means they want to hardcast Force of Vigor or they drew a Belcher. They're going to hardcast Force of Vigor, sure. So they hit the Drum and the Saga. Not ideal, of course, but could be worse. We draw a Sigarda's Aid. Okay. I mean, you don't really want to get Furied because the Pact of a Titan is basically a blank card anyway. Play Sigarda's Aid. Playing Sentinel just seems kind of bad. Just like asking them to Fury us. Not really doing a ton otherwise, but playing our land there obviously kind of stinks for Lurrus. Yeah, we'll just say go. Now they're in spot 2 where I have Sigarda's Aid, so if I ever draw a Hammer, they can no longer Fury anymore, and they just lose. They might want to just fire up the Fury right now anyway, preemptively. And they're going to. Excellent. So, good call on our part to not play the Sentinel. They get to Fury my 2 bad creatures, so it's totally fine. And now they have 2 cards left, and I get to play Sentinel. I imagine they're going to flashback Striker Rich here. Sure. Draw a Hammer. Wouldn't be bad. They're going to play Spikefield Cave. So now, unfortunately, they're just like drawing to a Belcher. We draw Silent Clearing. All right, we're just going to cast Lurrus. Cast Lurrus. Cast the Memnite for free. They have 1 card left. Next turn we can cast Drum or Ornithopter for free. Start flooding the board again. Shatterskull Hammer Pass. They're going to play it. They could actually have cast Shatterskull Smashing here to kill my Lurrus. They're declining to do that, which is somewhat interesting. Not sure why they need this 5th land. Belcher costs 4, obviously. Here, Stoneforge Mystic. We can. Whew, boy. All right, so Stoneforge me. And that's game. They're trying to concede. All right, sweet. So feels like a pretty good matchup, honestly. And the Thoughtseizes do a lot to help matchup like this where they actually can race us in theory. So nice quick 1-0 there. We'll take that on to round 2. Look at that. You won the die roll again. How lucky. Round 2. Lurrus, I choose you. Opponent's name is I don't need a name. Very clever. Very clever. Opponent's also playing Lurrus. Also very clever. And all right, so our hand is 1 Springleaf Drum away from being awesome, but still very good. We can keep this. Sentinel, Stoneforge, Sigarda's Aid. What kind of Lurrus deck are you, my friend? Friend? Hello? Probably leaning on Memnite Sentinel, but we'll see if we want to cast Thoughtseize for some reason. Put them all against a 6. That's what they're thinking about mulliganing. It is ridiculous that there's like a dozen Lurrus decks. Like literally a dozen. Alright, so Memnite. Sentinel turn 1 of the play does feel really nice. Does feel very nice. So go. Pretty insulating against Ragavan too with our Memnite here. The natural... Oh, they're going to concede. Okay. So I think this is that's a pretty... So I think that honestly, they mulled a 6. Their hand wasn't great. And they didn't think they could beat Sentinel plus Memnite. So I'm going to put them on a Ragavan deck of some kind. Because we covered both bases here. And they just didn't want it to not show us that we're playing. A burn deck can beat this. A hammer time deck can beat this. So I'm going to assume it's probably a fair Ragavan deck. And board accordingly. Bring Prismatic Ending. Usually good against Lurrus decks anyway. Let's just don't want to bring in Sanctifier and back in the dark. That one I'm not really sure about. Definitely want the endings. No questions there. Shave the Bauble. I'm going to shave like 2 Ornithopters. Usually you shave those in the more fair matchups. Thoughtseize. Not thrilled about Thoughtseize. I'm going to bring in 2 Sanctifier back. We're going to hedge a little bit here. Kind of Thoughtseize. So if they're burn, this is good. If they're a Ragavan deck, this is good. Only really get punished if there's something weird like Mill or something. It's the Mirror. Not good. But ending is good, and then, Thopter, Bauble, I would, like to have that in the mirror, I guess. But we're going to hedge a little bit here. I'm not going to bring in all 3. Just do a little bit of hedging based on the information we've gleaned from how that game played out of them choosing to not play a card and keeping 6. And the cards that we played. So some deduction here. We'll see if we leveled ourselves or not. Usually Prismatic Ending is a pretty safe bring in against Lurrus. So, all right, they're also Lurrus again. This time our hand is not as good. Not as good. Obviously we have Thoughtseize, which is good. But we have a lot of... We're all dressed up with nowhere to go, basically. Opponent keeps 7. We're going to mulligan this. I think, honestly, on the play, I'd be a little more interested in keeping it. Because we can nab Ragavan before they can cast it. But if our assumption is correct that they are playing Ragavan, we get destroyed by Ragavan this hand. And they kept 7, so we're going to mulligan. And mulligan into 1 land, Saga, Drum, double Sentinel, Aid, Paladin, Sanctifier. So if we can just draw any 0 mana creature or any land that produces white, this hand is great. I'm not going to 5. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to ship 1 of 2 drops. I think it's Puresteel Paladin, honestly. No equipment yet, and we have Sigarda's Aid already. And if they are red, I want to keep the Sanctifier, so... Risky keep here. Risky keep. Mishra's Bauble, as predicted. Some sort of fair Lurrus deck. Looking at their own cards. They're also a fetch land deck, too. So, looking like the prediction might end up being true. Is that going to help us win this game? Maybe not. But, take him as we can get him. Polluted Delta... Goes. Could also be a Grixis. Can I have a Grixis fair deck? Very possible. Very possible. They wanted the card on top. Sure. We draw an Inkmoth Nexus. A safer turn 1 play than Saga here. Only 1 land, so play Drum. Say go. Need some help. Obviously, a second colorless land, not super ideal, but if we can find ourselves a white land, we'll be very, very happy. Or a 0-drop. We have 6 0-drops and like what? 15, 16 white lands. So drawing to close to half our deck. All right, they're a shadow deck. So they end up shocked. So close enough. Close enough on our prediction. Very happy with Sanctifier, of course. And very happy with Prismatic Ending. Very sad we couldn't cast Esper Sentinel, but, you know, them's the breaks. Untap and draw a Dark Confidant. I mean, we can fire up the Nexus and cast Esper Sentinel, which we're probably going to do. So this is not exactly how you want to use this card, but the worst Birds of Paradise of all time does play. Esper Sentinel obviously much worse here on turn 3 or 2 for them, but play Sentinel. So they go. They crack and they kill my Nexus here. I mean, we gotta do something, right? Watery Grave and terminate the Inkmoth Nexus. Sure. Unfortunately, Esper Sentinel much worse on the draw on turn 3 when you're missing lands. But you know, hopefully it'll be a little annoying at least. And then if it just lives, we can hopefully cast Sanctifier or Dark Confidant. But probably in pretty big trouble this game. Gonna be hard to use our Saga too with no lands, obviously. Terminated. Big tanks here. Big tanks. It's a small effect, but it adds up. You know, taxing your opponent's spells. It's only the first spells. They can like pay 2 for something or pay 1 for a Bauble and then start playing spells with no worries, but it means no worries for the rest of your turn. I'll pay the 1. They're going to terminate again. And they're going to not pay. Wow. Really? And they're going to Alpine Moon. Oh, gross. So devastating. Of course, Alpine Moon, one of the best cards in the format against Urza Saga. It kills all Urza Sagas. For some reason, it removes the abilities. It's no longer a Saga, so it no longer lives, and that's that. So we need to draw land. We're already mana screwed. Yeah, all right. So we're going to go to game 3 here. Mulligan into a kind of sketchy hand. Didn't pan out at all. Opponent had some pretty good answers. But now I know they're playing. So Silver Lining, you know? Basic Mountain. We're going to assume they're a Shadow deck because they shocked on like turn 3 for no reason. Shocking again, sure. Shadow, okay. In a sec that I feel like we actually like win this game. They only have 2 cards left. They didn't put Lurrus in their hand though, so Ornithopter. Cast Ornithopter. They're going to drama lock my Ornithopter. It's going to be hilarious. Yep. All right. No cards left. Like, if we just go plains here, we can just cast Sanctifier and back, you know? Can they actually kill this card? I don't think so. I think they probably have explosives, but... sick draw. Iterations, sure. I think we're going to be in great shape for game 3 and not super worried at all. You're going to Thoughtseize me too? Shit. All right, so I had F6 already. I probably would have conceded to that in response and just not show them that we have Dark Confidant and Sanctifier in our deck. But I was F6 already, so took the Sentinel, sure. So obviously kind of a dumb game. We should have like no lands, you know, whatever. It's fine. No big deal. Card's very good. 1 card left. Draw. All right, that's fine. Game 3. Game 3 will be a little more interesting than game 1 and game 2, hopefully. Hopefully. So bring in Sanctifier and back. We're on the play. It's definitely a question of like how interested in Thoughtseize are we. Also a question of how interested in Ornithopter are we. If we want to go down to only 4 0 mana creatures. Don't want to go up on Thoughtseize. Soul Guide Lantern is Seal, Hushbringer, Lurrus. I think 3 Thoughtseize is fine. They do have like some counter magic and stuff. Try and pick that off. We're on the play also, so we can Thoughtseize their Thoughtseize so they can't Thoughtseize our Sanctifier. We have ending stuff. I think we're in totally fine shape here. As long as we can just cast spells, we'll be totally fine. All right, on the play. Lurrus again. All right, Lurrus. Oh, we got lands. Look at us. Not a great hand, but we're going to keep. We're going to keep. 7/7 on cards. We're going to cast Thoughtseize. The question is, do I want to play it off clearing or do I want to play it off of a fetched Godless Shrine? Probably less damage overall, honestly. Alright. What you got for me? The hand is Channeler, Iteration, Inquisition, Kroxa, Bauble. We have Ending for Channeler. Iteration is obviously very good, but we also have a Sigarda's Aid. Once it's in play, they can't really remove it. I think the options here are Inquisition or Channeler. And given that we have Sigarda's Aid, I want to keep and an Ending for the Channeler. We're just going to take the Channeler, take the Inquisition here. Let's take the Inquisition. Get their hand right here. Play Memnite and say go. Next turn can be ending their Channeler, play Sigarda's Aid, attack for 1. Then we'll have Nexus in play and Sigarda's Aid in play. See Bloodstained Mire. Gonna play the Channeler, I would assume. And play the Bauble, I would assume. Yep. Surveil's gonna put a Bloodstained Mire in the graveyard, which is great for us. So they didn't want the card, and it's redundant for Delirium, which is cool. Need to be aware of Kroxa, I suppose. They're going to look at our top card, so they know we have a Esper Sentinel. Not a bad one to have. Not a bad one to have. All right. Memnite, first and foremost. Trades all day? No. Okay. And then we're just going to cast Sentinel and cast Sigarda's Aid. We can leave them with a Channeler for 1 turn. Doesn't bother me at all. Definitely a little weird, like, even like not want to attack them because they're a shadow deck. Probably should consider that before I attacked. When they're in like the 16 to 13 range, you don't always want to attack them because you're just helping them get shadow faster to make them deal with damage and keep your stuff back. Gives them less options, but we'll see how we're feeling. Very happy to have Sentinel in the play here. We have Lurrus too, honestly, so we have things to do with our mana. They're going to Mire, third Mire, and fetch up something. They have Iteration, Kroxa, Blood Crypt, card in hand. Obviously, our beatdown force right now is not exactly, earth-shattering, but things get interesting if they cast Kroxa, because we give them Delirium so they get attack. It would also mean we have to discard either our Ending or our Nexus. We kind of want both. Get Watergrave, Shock. Nope. So they're going to leave up, assumedly drown the lock. Nope. They're going to cast Kroxa. Okay. So cast Kroxa. And now I have a big choice here of what do we discard. Sigarda's, playing Nexus obviously opens up the ability to just one-shot them with a hammer if we draw a hammer. They want to leave Channeler back on defense and not attack here. They could have attacked for 3 and chose not to. I don't know how interested I am in Ending. I think I just want the Nexus. Also, we take less damage if we discard Nexus too, so discard the Ending. Alright, so draw a Courtyard, which kind of stinks. Alright. We're going to play Nexus and sack clearing. So I want to have Nexus in place. It's not summoning 6, so crack this. Draw Sentinel. That's actually pretty good. Play Sentinel. Just say go. Now it's pretty hard for them to cast spells. And their clock isn't ridiculous or anything. Do have a 3rd land. So see if we come to regret discarding this Ending or not. They play a Tarn, so they're not going to play the Blood Crypt in their hand. We take 3. And they're just going to say go. Alright, so untap, draw. Another Esper Sentinel. Okay. Cast a 3rd Esper Sentinel. Yeah, we're just going to attack here. They're at the point where they can just cast Shadow if they want anyway, so just make it hard for them. Plenty of blockers for it too, so. Play a land, say go. No reason to dig in with the Nexus, because just one poison means nothing. They practice Scalding Tarn. Get basic Mountain. They have a Colligan's command here. This is the sick part too, because like this is the kind of deck that should destroy a deck like this. Typically, you know, Grixis Death Shadow was like the best deck against en-Vec decks back in the day, because there's just so many unbelievable good rule spells, discard spells, fast clock, but we're hanging right now. We're hanging. About to draw 3 cards. Command will kill 2 of our Sentinels. We're going to draw 3. It's fine. 1, 2, 3. Not too bad. $11 to $9. It's interesting that Cranial Plating might actually be a consideration here over Hammer. There's no reason to like go over the top. Kind of have to expect that whatever we Hammer is going to die, so just get the more flexible card, small ball them to death. 8 to 9. Play the Blood Crypt, shock it in, down to 7. Explosives on 1. Okay. It's pretty good, but it's not like, you know, out of this world good. Let's get a resolve. They should pop it right now. Oh wow. Okay, sure. So Memnite v the World. Stoneforge Mystic. I had a Bone Splitter in my deck. Yeah, we're just gonna like play Memnite. Should play our hand, honestly. Play Memnite. Play Drum. Play this. Play Stoneforge. Can get Cranial Plating, I think, and just cast it. Shadowspear. None of our things are big enough for that to matter, I don't think. So I get Plating. Attack for 1. We have black for insta equip. We have 4, possibly 5 artifacts. So it is a lethal plating. Put it on 1, insta equip to the other kind of thing. So kind of force a bit of a shatter. They have 3 cards. Iteration's obviously a little slow and clunky. They couldn't cast it earlier because of the Esper Sentinels. We have Lurrus looming as well. So do they, obviously, but they have Kroxa looming, but tap out for Kroxa and die. Explosives on 2. So another one of the cards is to make the best card in the format against us. Very, very good card against us, but they're at 6. Might be these knuckleheads going all the way here. See what our draw is. Third, let's have Stoneforge Mystic. We draw Urza Saga. That is a nice draw. That is definitely a nice draw. Okay. I think we just attack with all 3 and start there. And then we have the intent of yeah, so you could like try and like equip, make them pop it, and use this for a mana, but like we get a mana back anyway, so we just attack, force them to use it. We should let it happen. Wow. Okay, no, they're not. Yeah, that seems ridiculous. So take that and go to 4. We play Urza Saga again, phenomenal draw, and we're gonna draw a card to start. Probably put some Lurrus in our hand also. Let's draw a card and see what we draw. Draw another Courtyard, sure. So Lurrus to hand. Pass the turn ski. Now we have the old Saga here to make some boom booms. We got Team Memnite still chipping away. We have Lurrus ready to recast Esper Sentinel, Sigarda, Zabe, whatever we want. Here comes the iteration. They've already exploded us twice, and we are currently winning. So speaks a nice volume to our the ability of Select to Grind. And both explosives were like actively good too. One of them killed what, 2 sentinels and a drum. Not a drum. He killed something else. I don't know, whatever. They find a shadow, they cast it. It is a 9/9. So I suppose we're dead to Team Battle Rage, but they found the Alpine Moon too? Unbelievable. Alright, they might have us this game. They might have us, folks. Finding a threat and the Alpine Moon was like basically what they needed to do here, and they found both off the one iteration, so pretty disgusting. We draw Colossus Hammer. Oh no, Concealed Courtyard. If you came in untapped, they're just dead. So close. So close. Alright. Alright, just play Lurrus by Sigarda's 8, I guess. What else can we do? They have Battle Rage, we're dead, we can't do anything about it. They have Kolaghan's Command, we're dead, we can't do anything about it, but sometimes them's the breaks, you know? We could play, yeah, let's play Lurrus. You have 2 cards left. All right, don't kill me, I guess. I think we're dead, if I had to guess. Drown the Lock. Okay. Oh, God. All right, whatever. All right, so pretty tough game there. Pretty tough game. That was a pretty sick expressive iteration. We almost beat double explosives, but they went just a little too far. Definitely the kind of deck that, like, you know, they have literally every tool possible against us. I would say these, like, Grixis Shadow decks and, like, the Jund, Ren and 6, Ragavan decks are your really bad matchups. Never drew a Sanctifier, would have won the game. I guess not by itself necessarily, but yeah, them's the breaks. We had another blocker here. If we had an untapped land here, we win the game. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Timely Urza, timely Alpine Moon, timely Death Shadow. And we are to the 1-1 bracket. Round 3 die roll winner again. Lucky. All right, let's see. We had a nice one here too. A little lacking in payoffs, but we have our Saga, so it's a payoff in and of itself. This might be a turn 1 Urza Saga, and with the ability to make a token on turn 2. I think it is. Actually. So you go turn 1. A lot of sequencing of his deck. His deck is very, very difficult to play. It has all the difficulty of like trying to figure out your en-Vec kills while also trying to figure out how to like properly leverage yourself against cards like Force of Vigor and so on, and remove spells and play a longer game and so on and so forth. In the dark here, I'm pretty happy playing Saga on 1. We play Thopter, Memnite, Drum. We don't cast Colossus Hammer. It's better off in our hand. Untap. We play land, start making Saga tokens, go from there. Yeah, that works for me. Yeah, I'm just going to say go. Hammer's obviously weird because like you want to hold it for Sigarda's Aid, but you can play it for artifacts for Saga. Let me just play it. Obviously, once it's already in play, we need to have a Puresteel Paladin to put it in. I'll just hold it. We have a second Hammer possibly coming also. Marsh Flats. Plain fair. We draw an Inkmoth Nexus. That's pretty cool. I think I'm fine playing that over Silent Clearing, so I'm just going to play Nexus, attack for 1. Start making constructs. Call it a day. Marsh Flats is sacrificed for a Watery Grave. Concealed Courtyard. So possibly Esper Reanimator. Looks like it. Okay. Wish we had that one, graveyard hate card in our main deck, but sure. I mean, constructs are pretty big. That's a 4/4. Get to untap and draw another drum. So we're going to make another construct here. We drew Sigarda, we killed them, but we didn't. So another construct. We're going to search for probably Shadowspear, maybe. We want fodder to sacrifice to the Archon. We're going to have a Thopter and a Memnite and an Inkmoth Nexus. I suppose another Memnite isn't crazy, though. We're getting in for a pretty big chunk here, too. We can go land, drum, and probably just cast the hammer at this point. I actually like Memnite, I think. So Memnite, clearing, drum, hammer, just as a pump. Get in for 9. So I don't think Archon's good enough to beat this board, even though it is pretty good. They Archon, we sacrifice an Ornithopter, discard the plating, attack for 1,000,000. They have to jump block with the Archon. Life's pretty good. And again, this is the plan B, which is the cool part. 1 black. Nope. They're at 8. So any single target removal will also not do it here. If they had like persist plus fatal push or like an ending, that might do it. Sacrifice Ornithopter. Discard plating. Go to 11. All right, so draw a silent clearing. Just gonna start by cracking clearing. Draw another Urza Saga. It's not too bad. Play a land. It's kind of like have to have push or they're dead. I guess they could like, in theory, push 1, block a Memnite. Yeah, I should probably leave my Memnites back. We can definitely lose this game. Obviously, this is like their ideal draw, so if I attack a Memnite and they like kill 1, block the Memnite, attack, kill another Memnite, we're just like letting them get us, I think. We'll just attack like this. We can fire up the Nexus to get in for an extra point. Obviously, a lot of it just didn't have the push. They just force jump block here. So they're not blocking. So we're going to pass priority. They're going to push my thing. We're going to activate Nexus and get in for 8. Or 7, sorry. And I guess that denied us the ability to put Lurrus in our hand. Which might have had value. But we'll see. They're at 4. They have a lot of cards in their hand. Do have a lot of cards. Here comes Archon. They go to 7. We go to, what, 8? So we are dead in the next swing. So they draw an answer to my contract here. We're just dead. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? If I put Lurrus in hand, I don't think it really helps us either, honestly. They're going to 5. That can't be good. They have another. Oh my god. They also just drew like both parts of their combo and a point of interaction too. So, you know, once they get the Archon going, it's pretty easy to find another one. But like, all right, whatever. Sure. All right, I guess we're dead. That's okay. Next game. Next game. All right, so we're going to bring in 3 Sanctifier en-Vecs. We're going to bring in 2 Hushbringers. We're going to bring in a Soul Guide Lantern and a Thoughtseize. And we're going to cut The plating. Yeah, the plating. Got the Ornithopters. Got the Bauble. Shadowspear. Hammers. Still on Bob. We are bringing a lot of 2s. Hushbringer turns off Archon's enter the battlefield ability, but not its attack trigger. It's also pretty vulnerable. It might just die. I think we're just going to leave this out. So now we have 4 Thoughtseize, 3 Sanctifier, which neuter their entire deck, and a Soul Guide Lantern, and 4 Saga to get it, and we're on the play. So we'll consider Hushbringer for game 3, but I think for game 2 we're pretty happy here. They also, he's Knight of Malice too. They have pushes though, it's fine. That's more for like the blue-white decks. So, this works for me. Entomb, Reanimate. Easy game. Easy game. I think Dark Confidant's still good enough here. On the play, choose Lurrus. Our hand is Courtyard, Drum, Memnite, Esper Sentinel, aka awesome. So cast Drum first. Minor thing because they have Solitude, so you can't Solitude your Memnite before you can cast Drum. Play Sentinel and say go. You draw a lander, you have Sigarda's Aid and Sanctifier, which is pretty freaking good. Turn 1 Esper Sentinel, not too shabby. Peter Panda. Hey, wait a minute. Ain't you Peter Panda? Flooded Strand. Shocking, drawn card. Let's go. No, they're going to grief me? Ugh. And Ephemerate, great. Pretty annoying. All right, we drew a land, I guess. So they take 2 cards here. Take Sanctifier and probably Stoneforge. Prismatic Ending can kill the Sanctifier. It's not like insane against them, but it's also just a rest in peace for the time being. So, all right. So they have grief. They have done their thing. We draw Silent Clearing. So we don't want a spell in our hand when they Ephemerate Grief again, so we just play Sigarda's Aid and say go. Play the Strand they know about. Just say go. Still have Sentinel, still have mana, and they still have a Sigarda's Aid in play too, so you can pad their stats here a bit. I imagine they'll pay 1 for the Esper Sentinel, but we'll see. I guess they could just let us draw a card and then just take it, right? But they declined to do that, so. Memorate, look at my hand. It's Silent Clearing. And even after all that, they have 5 cards. We have a pretty good board. We have Lurrus, not the end of the world. They can play a spell right now if they want it and not be taxed by Sentinel. So they have like a push here also. Okay. I don't know why I talk sometimes, but sure. Just call it the worst card for me every possible turn. They just have it every time. Get Godless Shrine, sure. They only have 3 cards left though, so once they have like Entomb and Reanimate, I think we're still fine. We draw a Silent Clearing. It's not ideal, but sure. I'm just not gonna take 1. Just put Lurrus in hand and say go. Take 3. NBD. Make sure we can go land Lurrus Sanctifier, which is pretty good. Probably want to Sanctifier over casting Stoneforge, I think. They can't have Counterspell here. I don't do blue. We draw Shadowspear. That's fine. Alright, so white. Cast Lurrus. Resolves instantly. And I'm pretty sure we're just casting Sanctifier. And we could cast Stoneforge, but like, we'll just get Sanctifier and play. Nuke their graveyard. It's pro black. Life is good. And just like go. We have Shadowspear, just cast it and use it normally. We have Canopy lands and mana. Their deck don't work as long as this is in play. They can obviously use a Prismatic Ending on it, but that's not the end of the world. We also just have Stoneforge next turn off Lurrus as well. They're going to evoke a Muldrifter. This is not a cube draft, folks. This is modern, circa 2021. Suppose they have Solitude also for this, but still very good. Watery Grave, tapped. And untap and draw. Do they have Solitude? Doesn't look like it. It does not look like it. So, cast Stoneforge Mystic. Maybe they do. I don't know. It seems pretty clear they should probably have Solitude the Lurrus if that was the case, but we're going to get a Colossus Hammer. It's going right on that Memnite. It's going right on that Memnite. Attack step. Make them kill the worst thing, if that is the case. This ain't blocking. Cast Hammer. Okay, we're going to target the Memnite and play around a Solitude here. What's going on? Just going to cast Shadowspear also. Now this one, they let it resolve, so I can't imagine they have Solitude at this point. This is just 14, so are them's the breaks? Are them's the breaks, I ask you? Them's are the breaks. All right, cool. So despite them having their turn one, Ephemerate Wombo combo, we still beat them pretty thoroughly that game. Now we're on the draw, though. And now the question is, do I want to bring in Hushbringer or not? Hushbringer can obviously... I mean, it does work against... It works against Muldrifter, too, actually. Yeah, Hushbringer's coming in. They have Muldrifter, Solitude, and Grief, I think. And, of course, the Archons. What gets cut, though? What are we cutting here? What are we cutting? Not thrilled about cutting Dark Confidant, because it is sort of like a control matchup, but a control-y sort of matchup. Obviously, we want our Soul Guide Lantern, Shadowspear, Plating. I guess we don't necessarily need Plating. Just play well with Hushbringer, but you're cutting down on our Ornithopters and stuff. It's kind of like the fair equipment to get, but you can cut that, I think. Got the Plating, and... Is it possible we want to cut a Memnite or even a Sigarda's Aid? Because we don't necessarily want to be like all in combo against them. We have Solitude and Friends. Could be a Dark Confidant, although I'm not very happy about it if it is. Let's play 61, Can't figure out the last card, just play 61. I mean, it's Memnite. Drum. Could be a drum, maybe, because without the 8-ball of zeros, we don't necessarily want to draw a second drum. Yeah, let's do that. I don't love it, but it's a little annoying that obviously Hushbringer turns off our Stoneforges, but I think that's fine. Let's try this. A little worried about like their good hand on the draw here. If I just have like Thoughtseize into Entomb, into Reanimate, might be a little too good. We don't really actually beat a Archon once it's in play. But with 4 Thoughtseize, 3 Sanctifier, a Soul Guide Lantern, and 2 Hushbringers. And Sentinel too, honestly. Turn 1 Sentinel obviously will pass off a bit. Hopefully they don't assemble it, you know? Or we draw one of our good cards. Or both. We draw Memnite, Hushbringer, Shadowspear, Stoneforge. Not a great hand, honestly. Put him all against the 6. So obviously, as we said earlier, Hushbringer turns off Stoneforge Mystic, which is really obnoxious. Because you kind of want to cast the Hushbringer first. This may end up just being an Urza Saga game anyway. And they're on 6 cards. I'm going to keep. I don't love it. I'm not thrilled with this hand, but they mulliganed. Just let it happen. Marsh Flats. Crack it. All right, here we go. Preferably not Grief Ephemerate again. Oh, no, it's not. So it's the discard spell. Sure. So take one or the other. Pick your poison, you know? They're already at 15. They have 4 cards in hand. Again, if their hand just like Entomb Reanimate, then I guess they win. Whatever. But we play Saga. They play Entomb. We go to 2. They play Reanimate. So Saga's not fast enough to get a Soul Guide Lantern before they can go off. So if they just have it, what can we do? We can draw Thoughtseize. We're literally drawing to 4 Thoughtseize and 3 Sanctifiers as well. And a Soul. So we're drawing to 8 cards here. Drawing to 8 cards between Soul Guide Lantern, Sanctifier, and other card. But they're going to pitch here. They're going to pitch an Archon to Grief, which is great for us. So we just turned our Stoneforge Mystic into a Hand of Torok. Now they have 2 cards left, only 1 land in play. This heavily favors us. Heavily favors us. We draw Drum too. Wow. So now we can turn 1 Saga. So now they need mana to cast spells and their actual cards too. All right. Yeah, we're going to turn 1 Saga. Saga. Drum. Memnite. We're just going to cast Shadowspear. Just get it out there. Because we're going to be sagaing for tokens over the next 2 turns, so just get it out there. They have a way to kill this. Things get a little awkward, unfortunately. But white, black, Stony Silence. The haters are out in force, my friends. But we draw Soul Guide Lantern, which sort of doesn't really work, honestly. All right, well, we can't remove this from the battlefield, but we're just going to beat it, so don't worry about it. How are we going to beat it? I'm not sure yet, but we're going to beat it. We're going to hold this Lantern. We're going to play a Flooded Strand. Now we can't use our Saga for anything. God, that sucks. All right, that's a disgusting card to have. All right. Oh wait, I screwed up. I don't know about it. Never mind. It's also mana abilities. Duh. I know that. Yeah, we're good. All right. So max punish for playing Saga on the turn there. We played it. They play Mending. Obviously, if they just put an Archon, then we get Steel with Lantern. So we have plenty of time here. Honestly, it sucks we kind of burned our Saga. And there's nothing really good we can do with it, but they get an Archon, sure. They have 1 card left, also sure. So untap. Can't use Saga, unfortunately. We will draw an Esper Sentinel. That plays. So float a mana. And we're going to get ourselves probably some Memnite, honestly. Start bringing the beats. No, they're good options. So the Memnite and a Clearing and an Esper Sentinel and a Soul Guide Lantern. And we're going to nug that Archon of Cruelty. There's a big debate between like Soul Guide Lantern or Nile Spellbomb. This is clearly a spot where Soul Guide Lantern is better. And then we're going to attack for 1 and say go. And we have a Sentinel in play, and they have 2 lands and 1 card in hand. So we also have a clock. It is not the most impressive clock of all time, but it is a clock. Tick tock, tick tock. They draw land, sure. All right. Give me Sanctifier. Give me Dark Confidant. Give me Unmarked Grave. All right. I guess it's a pretty good draw. Well, now they're just drawing to a Persist. They have 4 of them. There's your Archon. 15, huh? We draw another Memnite. Yo, bro. I heard you like Memnite. Big question here of do we want to crack the clearing or not? I kind of don't think we do. We kind of need 2 mana to cast all our relevant cards, so just gonna send in the clowns. They go to 11. Don't drop Persist on me, friend. Don't you do it. They've got literally nothing. Just the card they drew for turn. Well, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, I guess. Okay, so this was an absolutely disgusting game of Magic, but I guess we lose, so that's Magic sometimes. No cards in hand, just drew Persist after drawing on Markgrave. So no cards in hand, back-to-back draws. Yeah, alright, I guess them's the breaks. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think we can draw anything anymore, so... Puresteel Paladin still gives the ability to the artifacts. We can't equip it. I don't believe we have any outs anymore. No way to remove this. All right, yeah. All right, next match, I guess. Sometimes it be that way. All right, so we are 1 and 2. We've lost the die roll. So be it. And we have a pretty boomy draw here. This is kind of an all-in draw. We have Saga too, though, honestly, so I'm going to keep this one. And hopefully not get Thoughtseized. No Lurrus, though. Probably no Thoughtseize. Hopefully they just go like Urza's Tower or something like that. Ooh, Cavern of Souls. Okay, sure. Okay, it's an amulet deck. All right, that's less fun. I was like, ooh, humans? No one plays humans anymore. Everyone's playing freaking Fury. So we got a race here, folks. We have Amulet of Vigor versus Sigarda's Aid. And I think Sigarda's Aid wins this one. We'll see. So we're playing Thopters. I believe this is a turn 1 Saga hand. Turn 1 Saga go. Turn 2 Sigarda's Aid hammer attack. Turn 3 Saga gets a hammer attack. So this is a turn 1 Saga hand. Just say go. Please don't turn to me, opponent. I don't know why I said anything. That was a big mistake I just made saying that. I should not have said that. All right, here comes Sanctuary. All right, no, never mind. We're good. They're tapping 3. Here's a Dryad. Okay. They get an extra land. And if it's a Foothills. And they're saying go. Okay. We're still alive. Puresteel Paladin. Plains. Sigarda's Aid. Attack. Cast Colossus Hammer. Put it here. Say go. You're 10. GLHF. Next turn Saga goes off. We get another hammer. Not a very surgically precise hand here. This is more of the actual, literal hammer, just like, but let's see what we can do. They play Castle Garenbrig. They play Tireless Tracker. The best card ever printed. One of my personal faves. But not exactly what you're looking for in this current situation. I guess they can double chump, which is totally fair. They can do that. But can I get Shadowspear? No, the champ won't really help. So, all right. So draw Esper Sentinel. We're gonna float. Get another hammer. I don't think that a single Titan beats us next turn. So equip and attack. Especially because the Titan is because the Paladin's gonna be huge on defense too. So attack for a bunch. I guess we actually can't remove the, if we move the hammers, it's actually an interesting spot. So we play the Puresteel Paladin here. If we move a hammer to it, one Thopter will die. I don't think we care though, honestly. I think that's fine. We just want to make sure we don't die with like some ridiculous Titan here or something like that. So I'll just move it. Let's say go. They get Titan. It can be a 16 power double striker. But I just don't know if that's enough. They can figure it out. I want to remind you all I have a companion article to this video, as always, on CoolStuffInc.com. I do a video article every Monday, written article every Friday. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hop on over to CoolStuffInc.com. Check out the written content that goes along with this. Check out my article from last Friday, which is my my love-hate article, which I always do before set releases, talking about the cards I think are over and underrated. Of course, this Friday's 10 New Brews. Brand new set is out. I know it's quick, folks. I know it happened quick. I did my set review last Friday, and that's up on my YouTube. And then, of course, 10 New Brews will be streaming this coming Thursday. Hey, we won. And then on Friday on CoolStuffInc.com, full run out of all the decks. So back in spoiler season, Bronze Mythic's coming back. A lot of stuff to do, a lot of work to do. But our work is done for that game, and we are going into game number 2. And we're going to bring in some cards. We're going to bring in Thoughtseize. Now, a big one here they can have is, of course, is Force of Vigor. Now, Void Mirror, kind of an interesting card, because Void Mirror will counter Force of Vigor. It also counters Summoner's Pact. But I don't think I'm really willing to bring that card in, honestly. And I want the Thoughtseizes. Hushbringer turns off the enter the battlefield on Primeval Titan. Otherwise, not super exciting. We want Seal and Ending and deal with amulets. And I don't think we want Dark Confidant. It's kind of a weird matchup because like they are potentially a combo fast deck, but they're also kind of like able to grind too. Excuse me. I'm gonna shave like a Memnite or two. I think I want the Dark Confidant. I want things that are good against Force of Vigor. And now we have the ability to kill their amulets, so that's not too bad. I don't think I want Hushbringer. And then Shadowspear, Hammers. I guess Sentinel's like okay against them. It's not like overwhelmingly good. They do have a number of creatures in their deck. I have the Bauble too, I guess. I just got the Bauble. Oh, let's kind of Sentinel. Let's have 7 1-drops for our, or 7 0-drops for our Baubles. Let's try this. Thinkers that have interaction for their amulets, which is good. And then I think we can win a grinding game as well. So there's your Lurrus. And we draw. Alright. This is playable. It's a little awkward. Obviously no 0-drop. No 1-drop even for Drum. But we should double Thoughtseize, so I'm pretty happy with this. I'm gonna keep this. No answer to an amulet, but if we can take their threat, then it doesn't matter. They're effectively a ramp deck, with a bunch of moving parts. They have amulet again? No amulet. Definitely a Force of Vigor hand for sure. It's one or the other, So Thoughtseize, yeah. No, they're actually a Dryad, a Zoot. Their hand's terrible. How do you keep this hand in a million years? Just 5 lands, 2 3-drops? Wow. I am surprised. Okay, sure. Listen, you gotta live your life, I'm gonna live my life, you're gonna live your life, and we're just gonna have to live our lives. They're gonna go amulet. So our hand's not great. We need a Paladin, obviously, for the hammer, and Stoneforge to get the hammer. They play Gruul Turf. They bounce the Forest. I'm going to Thoughtseize them again. Cast the Drum. And yeah, they've got a bunch of lands in their end. So I'd love to draw a land here, so I can go Stoneforge and Paladin the same turn. Gruul Turf. Well, they have an amulet now, but they have nothing to do with it yet. They do have Ghost Quarter, and they're just going to Ghost Quarter me immediately. I would guess our opponent is inexperienced with their deck, if I had to guess. Because that play makes no sense at all. They just fix my mana. Like, just leave it up. Don't use it, So, we draw Dark Confidant. I do love casting Dark Confidant, but we got to cast the Stoneforge here. Yeah, so play Stoneforge, get Hammer. And then we're going to cast another Drum. No reason to cast Hammer. I want to cast a Paladin in play, so. Now, obviously, they're drawing to some pretty big stuff here, but what are you going to do? You know, they had a lens in their hand and they drew an amulet, so we did our Thoughtseize thing. We did our job. Explosives on 1. That is a pretty good draw. It will, however, kill their amulet, though, so we're probably going to play into it regardless, so we can draw land here. We can draw land, but it's kind of an awkward one. Still good, though. Still good. So play Puresteel Paladin. Play land. Play Hammer. Draw a card. Big thing here is the ability for us to equip. They kill their own amulet, which is pretty big. I doubt they would pop it. Oh, they're gonna pop a response too. Oh man. Oh. This is a clinic and things you shouldn't be doing. So they should wait for me to attack, obviously, because now I can just tap 2 mana and use my drums and cast Dark Confidant. So they kill my stuff, which is fine. Equip Fizzles. And we cast Bob. So they've killed their own amulet now. Once again, they have all lands in their hand. They play Castle. We get the Bob going. We draw another Puresteel Paladin and an Ornithopter. Looking to put Lurrus into our hand here and fire up the Hammer next turn. So we just jam with everything. I suppose casting a second Bob here isn't crazy, but if I had like anything else to do with my mana, maybe. But now we just like hit a land. We can just go Lurrus plus Hammer. I guess we're actually short on Artifact if we do that, but maybe it's Bob. Maybe it's Bob. I guess Bob exposes us to another explosives really bad. We should track the cards they have in their hand, like Magic Arena does. Play a Board Razor, sure. We know they have some bounce lines in their hand, I guess. All right, Dark Confidant says Silent Clearing, says Courtyard. So we can Lurrus here and get a Hammer, but we can't actually equip it because we only have 2 artifacts. We could, in theory, draw a Memnite or Ornithopter off the top, which would be pretty lucky. But I also like the idea of diversifying our mana cost too, so we're going to do it. All right, play Lurrus. Play Hammer. Draw another Hammer. Sure. Now just get it next turn, you know? It's always next turn. Always next turn. Even if I cast Titan here, it's not that bad. I suppose worst case would be like an Explosives, but we just have Lurrus in play now too. They play a Saga, totally fine. All right, yeah, I think we're in good shape here. Oh, Sigarda's 8 also. Oh, Thoughtseize also. Yeah. Those are pretty good. Let's take a little look. I think it's just 2 lands. We knew about those anyway, which is fine. Yeah, I mean, they're just dead as can possibly be. So play this, play the aid. Whatever. Doesn't matter. They have reach anyway. Put this here. Equip this one here, I guess. They block this. They take a bunch. They're dead. Yeah, sure. All right. So, yeah, it works out for us. They actually drew pretty well given their opening hand, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're minor misplay here that really affected the game at all. Still pretty good for us. So, we'll take it. We'll take it. All right. 2-2. 2-2. Back on the board. All right, let's finish strong here. Back on track. Winning die rolls. We had some have had some beats this league for sure. For sure, to say the least. We've laid some beats too, though. So, all right. Lurrus Mirror again. We have Saga Memnite, Sigarda's 8 Sentinel, Stoneforge, pretty easy keep. Question is what the lead on. Just Esper Sentinel. Just Esper Sentinel. Got Stoneforge, Sigarda's Aid, Saga. Could see a slight argument for wanting to resolve the Sigarda's Aid because the Lurrus decks usually can't kill it once it's in play. But we just play Sentinel and draw cards. You know, we don't need to play the super fast game against them or anything like that with Sentinel drawing cards. So life's pretty good. We could even just Saga Stoneforge on turn 2, honestly, and then set up for 8 on turn 3. Ooh, is this gonna be burn? It is gonna be burn, and I think that's pretty good for us. I think this matchup's pretty good. They have a lot of smashes and like deflecting bombs on their board. It can be tough, but we just draw a hammer. Sure, or we'll just do that. That's fine. All right, well, you win. Thing is that the burn deck can literally never beat your best draws, although their good draws can definitely crush your medium draws. But we just drew a hammer, so again, it's part of the allure of a deck. Is you just occasionally, sometimes you just draw it, put in the Sentinel. And now we always draw a card when they do stuff. And we take 11 or 12, whatever, and they're pretty dead. Yep. Okay. All right. Book it. Yeah. So a little harder post board when they have things like Deflecting Bomb and or Smash Smithereens. But we're gonna bring our 3 Sanctifier en-Vecs, 2 Prismatic Endings, and that's basically it. Gotta cut the Thoughtseizes and the Bobs, but I'm not like super stoked about cutting Thoughtseize because they just break it against Deflecting Bomb, but you just can't cast Thoughtseize. So our goal is going to be to be safe, play around Deflecting Bomb a little bit, lean a little more on Shadowspear. Honestly, Urza Saga ends up being pretty good in this matchup because you end up kind of like the game slows down a little bit. You just start making some big boomers, but pretty happy here. Pretty happy here. Yeah, this works. This works. Of course, Shadowspear is obviously great. Even just putting a Shadowspear on a Sanctifier is pretty awesome. So, all right. So, Dubs Lurrus. We have a Drum, Thopter, Sigarda's 8 hand. We can keep this one. Also have Ending on 1 too. Hand's pretty good. Hand's pretty good. Opponent keeps 7 also. Get the old Goblin Guide here. We do have a Silent Cleric. It's a little painful, but all right, there's your Goblin Guide. We're going to attack and reveal an Esper Sentinel. That's pretty good. And then I think this is going to be a turn 1 Saga hand. Start making constructs on turn 2, I think. And get our Shadowspear going as soon as possible as well. So play this. Play this. Play this. Play this. Suppose they play a Eidolon on turn 2 here. Things get interesting. Don't really need to cast many more spells this game, honestly. We hit a Nexus. Kind of cool. No blocks. A pain-free land here is ideal, even if it is not. All right, so they're going to play Eidolon, sure. So we're going to untap. We're going to Flooded Strand. Saga's going to go up. Do we fetch or not? I think we do want to fetch here. We do have Puresteel Paladin for a possible honk on the hammer next turn, if that's what we want to get. Free equip also, so we'll just get the white going. So we'll take a point here. I guess I could have let them attack first, whatever. Show. And say go. The ability to make our construct. We're at 15 already, so this is the kind of hand where them being on the play is everything. If they're on the draw this game, I think we're in amazing shape. On the play, might be too much. We'll see. Could have played Sigarda's Aid. But then we can't make a construct and block, which I think is pretty important. And we have Paladin anyway, so they're going to shock. They're going to Shadowspear, which is their own Eidolon trigger. If they have a Smash Smithereens here for my Saga token, we get to just pop them. All right, so Goblin Guide to reveal a Puresteel Paladin, not ideal. Make a construct. It's going to be a 4/4. Getting smashed. I think we're getting smashed here. No, okay. Pretty happy blocking Eidolon. Now the question is, do I want to chump block this Goblin Guide? We gotta figure out what our next turn is going to be. Or if our next turn is going to be get Hammer, play Puresteel, and try to equip an attack. The problem is that that's really bad against Smash and Deflecting Palm. We could small ball a bit, just get Shadowspear, put in the Sentinel attack. Or the Construct too, honestly. That's also not great against, obviously, Smash. It's not as bad against Deflecting Palm, though. Like, I just block here. And then, like, it's the same chump block if they don't pump. If they do pump, or if they do pump and if they don't pump, it's great. I'm going to block here. This is fine. Not dying is certainly on our agenda, so... And, like, they don't know we have Puresteel Paladin. So, if they just, like, cast a Smash here, just die. So... Alright, they're going to Boros Charm. And the Thinker's dead, right? So they Boros Charm. They ball us, we draw a card. Take a bunch, and there's dead, yeah. Untap, draw. Float a mana. Get our hammer. We say stop, hammer time. White, play Puresteel Paladin. Equip, and that's the game. Sweet. And that's kind of the thing, is that your opponent just has to respect it every turn, and they felt their best play was to just go for it there, and they died, which is awesome. So we went 3-2. We did lose to a fairly lucky Reanimator player. And we lost to Shadow it was pretty reasonable. I think that the thing I don't want to play against with this deck the most is either Grixis Shadow or Jund, like Zoomer Jund, with Ren and 6, Ragavan, etc. I don't think either of those decks is particularly great right now. I know Quaritch won the Invitational, but the Solitude decks seem really good against Shadow, obviously. And they kind of just go over the top of the Jund deck, too. But those are your fears of this deck. To the point where, like, I almost kind of just want a 4th Sanctifier just to try and shore that matchup up, because I feel pretty good everywhere else. So, deck is awesome. As of recording this, I haven't played the event yet, but I am playing a 4K just tomorrow for me as recording this. For you, it was last Saturday. And I plan on winning it, so hopefully I'll have good news for you. Yeah, I think it's like a super, super good. It's very challenging to play. Very, very difficult. A lot of those games are a little more of like the wham, bam, bam kind of games. But when you get into like the slower games against the grindy decks, especially the control decks, the Yorion decks, whatever, things like that, you really got to pick your spots and find the right places to be. But the power is certainly there. So give the deck a spin. And I just love this deck, and it's super, super awesome. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it as always. Again, 10 New Brews is going to be next Friday here on Cool Stuff, on Thursday on my stream and on my YouTube and stuff like that. My set review's coming out. New set, hype. All right. Check out the love-hate article from last week, and then get ready for 10 New Brews this week. And I love you all. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time, folks. Have a good one. I'm Jim Davis for CoolStuffInc.com. Also, promo code Jim10, 10% off your order at CoolStuffInc.com.